Hello everyone, this is the Summary Notes 2.3 and Data About Us, Making Choices. So now we've gone through mean, median, mode, range, and all the different kinds of things for looking at numbers that are typical. Now we're going to use them to also analyze what would be better and how is our mean and median affected by our data. So the first vocabulary word is outlier, a value that lies far away from the center. It's not like the other values. Okay? It's jumping out on either end. And it's sensitive measure. The mean is a sensitive measure and will be affected by an outlier. The median is not a sensitive measure and will not be greatly affected. So let's take a look here. If I have a grades of 60, 84, 86, and 90, and I go for the mean. So I'm going to now add my calculator here. I'm going to find the mean by adding. And then dividing by my 4 grades. And I get a mean of 80. Now I'm going to find my median. Remember, I need to make sure my data is in order from least to greatest, which it is. I have 4 pieces of data, so it's going to be between the second and third, which is right here between 84 and 86. Right between 84 and 86 is obviously 85. So which measure of center best describes the grades overall? Okay, so if you had these grades, okay, which one represents what you have? Okay, my 84, 86, and 90, okay, the 84 and the 86 right around 85, and I've got one greater than that. So I would say that my median best represents my data, okay? Of course, I want the higher grades, so I'm going to choose the median, but the mean was brought down because of my outlier. So it says, which grade is the outlier of 60? Okay, so many times we use the mean as, quote, our average, when really you could make a point, okay, if you have an outlier to your teacher and go, you know what, I have an outlier piece of data and the median really represents what I've done all marking period better. Okay, most teachers would probably kind of be shocked that you looked at that, and maybe they would identify, yes, I do have an outlier, and say, you know what, yeah, I'm going to use your median. Okay, so always kind of take a look at your grades and if there's any number bringing your grade down. So it says you made the corrections and the 60 became an 80. So let's see how that outlier really did affect my grade. So now I'm going to take my 80, I'm going to find the mean, 80 plus 84 plus 86 plus 90. I still have 4, so I'm going to divide it by my 4, and now I have 85. So now my mean is 85. Did that number affect my median? So once again, I still have 4 pieces of data. Okay, it's still here. My median is still 85. So in this case, whether I have my mean or my median, but this shows that the mean is sensitive to your data. The median didn't change, okay, but the mean was really affected by the data. So which measure of center is affected by the grade change? And we are going to say the mean. Okay, another way to analyze our data is to describe the shape of graphs or dot plots. And sometimes they're what we called skewed left, skewed right, and symmetrical. So if I take a look at this, okay, these values down here, okay, are pulling, just like that 60, are going to pull my mean down or to the left. So this is called skewed left, okay, or maybe I've got a piece of data that's really, 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 really high, and maybe we'll pull this to the right. So this is called skewed right because it's pulling it a little bit further than you should see. Okay, so this is where the outliers are going to drag it down, or the outliers might falsely bring it up. And we'll discuss different ways of what that shows. So here's another picture down here. Okay, something called, they call it negatively skewed, which again is skewed left because these pieces, this little tail is pulling my data down in that direction. Where here, a positive skew, okay, is going to bring my mean or my data value to the right. Now, symmetrical would look similar like this. Sometimes it's called a bell curve. And a bell curve would be data that is evenly placed within. So that is it for the notes for 2.3.